Thank you. The honourable member for Lacombe-Panoka, followed by
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Anne Craft is a constituent of mine who has been involved in a 2.5-year fight with this government over the contamination of her drinking water due to oil activity close to her property. She has written dozens of letters, made dozens of phone calls, and has had no satisfaction from this government. This is about property rights, and this government's lack of action to protect them. To the Minister of Sustainability Resource Development, why after 2.5 years and dozens of letters and phone calls has this government continued to fail my constituents?
The Honourable Government.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's the first I've heard of this, but I am prepared to say this to the member, that if he gives me the name and the address and the phone number of the constituents, I will personally give them a call, and we will sit down and see what the issues are, and if we can resolve them, we will.
First supplemental.
Thank you, Minister. Given that the enforcement of the environmental concerns resulting from the activity of the energy industry are now under the purview of the Alberta Energy Regulator, will the Minister of Energy order the AER to investigate and rectify the unacceptable conditions on Anne Craft's property?
The Honourable Minister of Energy.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as the Honourable Minister from the ESRD just said, I am also not aware of this incident, but be happy to find out the information from the Honourable Member if he'd like to share that with us and to look at the situation.
Final supplemental.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. It's evident that the mail hasn't been read in a couple of these ministries. Given that the government has allowed Anne's calls and letters to go unanswered for 2.5 years, and given that this issue of property rights, environmental protection, and quite frankly, a serious public health concern, do the ministers understand why Albertans have completely lost confidence in you, your government, and in the new Alberta Energy Regulator?
The Honourable Minister responsible.
Mr. Speaker, I take great offence to the member opposite saying that we don't return letters or answer phone calls. Mr. Speaker, the people in our department are very conscientious about the environment, and they're very conscientious about the work they do. And, Mr. Speaker, I will say to you that if a letter is written or if a phone call was made, I would say those calls returned, Mr. Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, let me say that we don't always agree with the people on the other end of the phone, and the answer might be no. And so that person might not be happy. But, Mr. Speaker, I will commit personally that I will deal with this issue, and I will talk to that constituent, and we'll come to resolve on the issue.